Welcome to Mind Matters at Southeast Psych. I'm Dr. Craig Pohlman, and the topic for this segment is college success. My guest is colleague and friend Dr. Dave Verhaagen. Thanks for being here, Dave. Dave is the evil mastermind behind Shrinkblog, a great website that offers pop culture from a psychologist's perspective. You've got a lot of neat guest contributors. And coming soon, the Shrinkblog show here on Southeast Psych Studios.
That's right.
Hosted by you.
Yes.
And some great guests I hear lined up.
Like that guy.
So, good stuff. Check it out. Dave, we're talking about college success. You and I have seen a lot of young people struggle at college with the work demands, organization, basically making the grade. And you told me something interesting a little while ago, that of the kids that you counsel in high school, that you could predict with, say, 90% accuracy who's going to struggle in college. Talk about that and what are the red flags?
Well, you know, there's kind of a truth in psychology that the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think I've heard that.
Yeah. So using that idea, you can apply that to college, and you can see kids that have patterns of being poorly organized, not using their time well, having to have outside people kind of goad them into action, and
like parents,
for example, or teachers, coaches, and you can kind of apply that to what it will look like in college. And for the most part, you can predict at a pretty high rate who's going to be successful, who's not going to be successful, or maybe better to say who's going to struggle mightily in college. Mm-hmm. There are, as we know, the majority of people who go to college do not finish in a 5-year span of time. Mm-hmm. So you take random folks going off to college, you know that only about 4 out of 10 of them are going to finish in a 5-year span. So you go again to another level of kids that are already struggling in high school, either because of attention problems or learning problems or just issues of motivation, and the odds get even smaller. So a lot of these guys who are struggling in high school, they're going to have mighty struggles in college for even different reasons.
Mm-hmm. And now you mentioned attention. I think it's fair to say that if you have an attention deficit, you are at risk for difficulty in college. And this might be a good time to mention that attention has a lot of different facets to it, which means a lot of different things can go wrong with attention. You could have distractibility problems, a lot of distractions in college, and you can also have some planning problems, previewing, which gets into the whole area of organization in college.
Right.
It can be a nightmare.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I would say is in high school, because you go to school at the same campus on the relatively same buildings all day long, 7 hours, and then a lot of times you might have sports, you might have other things, and you come home, you have parents that structure you. There's a great deal of structure to the day. Mm-hmm. And you go to college and all of a sudden all those structures and supports go away. So now you're in college maybe 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, and you can go back
they're in class.
In class, right, right, in class. And then you don't have the other structures. And so college becomes about 80% time management and planning. Right. And so the key variable, if you're going to say what's the one thing that predicts who's going to do well in college and who's not, it's going to be that time management piece, that planning piece of it.
And you and I have heard this story many times. There's this honeymoon period of about a month and a half where kids, even if they struggle or have those red flags, everything's great.
Right.
I mean, college is so easy. I'm only in class, a couple hours a day. It's awesome. I have lots of time for gaming.
Yes, lots of Xbox.
Yeah, exactly.
Lots of staying up till 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, right. And then that first midterm hits, and
kaboom.
It's terrible. And then often we see a lot of kids around Thanksgiving when they come home, and things are imploding. Yeah,
and a lot of kids who struggle, even if they've had a semester like that, where they start to struggle in the first semester, they'll say next semester, you know what? I'm going to do better. I'm going to, they have a lot of like New Year's resolutions. And what we see with those guys is that it lasts about maybe 3-4 weeks again, and then all that same stuff starts to set in because it's really, really tough. You can sit in my office and talk about what you need to do, but it becomes really, really difficult that when you're sitting there, on a college campus and you've got all these distractions or all these, things where you can just hang out in your dorm, stay up all night, sleep in all morning. that becomes really, really tough, and that's where the rubber meets the road.
Right. So our college success service here through Mind Matters aims to help these students who are having a hard time. And part of it's an assessment piece, finding out what's going on with their learning profile. Maybe it's an attention problem, maybe something else. And then a lot of therapy and support, which can be remote. I mean, we can do this via email, via Skype.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, what I love about it is that we're going to let folks come in, and the program's going to be shaped to them. We're not cookie cutter. It's going to be not one size fits all, but if someone has had previous assessment, then we look at that and take the information. If they need a new assessment, then we're going to do that. But then it's going to be a very, very individualized profile and a very, very individualized plan where someone's going to come in and say, here are the things that either have or will trip me up. And then
those black holes.
Right, those black holes.
Suck time and energy.
Right, whatever they would be, like blowing off class or procrastinating or partying too much, or you name it. They're going to list those things out, and then specific steps of action that they need. And then the part that we're going to offer that is really, really key, and I think this is absolutely essential, is that follow-up piece, where a certain number of contacts per semester will have someone follow up with them, either by email or by Skype, even in person if the person comes in or is local, but some way of getting that kind of constant contact. And we take that plan, convert it into a checklist, and then literally each contact we say, okay, did you go to class every week? Did you go to bed before 1 o'clock during school nights? Did you, and literally run it down and say, all right, this week you got 8 out of 10. Last week you were 9 out of 10, or whatever it would look like. If they start to slip, if they're tightening up, give that immediate feedback on kind of a regular weekly basis.
So a lot of task analysis of how they're organizing their time, spending their time, and then a lot of accountability and tracking of that.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be great. I look forward to working on this more with you.
Yeah, I'm
Thanks
looking
a lot
forward
for
to it.
being here.
Thank you.
So, and I should add, before we close, that our heads have not been digitally altered in any way for this segment.
Right.
So,
even though my head could fit into his skull by maybe 3 or 4 times. It's like the pictures of Jupiter with the little Earth in it, that you can put like 1,000 Earths in there.
We'll discuss this further at another time.
More of that to come.
Thanks a lot. I'm Dr. Craig Pohlman for Mind Matters at Southeast Psych, where we're saving the world one college student at a time.